to another Sunday WOAY ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by another distinguished guest, Wendy Peroni, who is the Executive Director of the Three Rivers Avian Center, and Gimli, the American Kestrel, join us today. Thanks so much for coming back to the forum and for bringing Gimli.
He was very happy to come today. He was talking all the time.
Well, he was making some noise when he came on in, so I'm glad that he's happy to be here, and we're happy to have him back. Anybody that consistently watches Forum, the first time that I interviewed Wendy, she brought Gimli, so this is a full circle moment. And it's kind of funny too, because we got the upcoming migration celebration, and Gimli has migrated back to us.
There you go.
So before we get into like all the festivities and all the upcoming events, can you tell people who are unfamiliar with the Three Rivers Avian Center what you all do?
We take care of injured wild birds and do public environmental education programs around the state and into surrounding states. We also participate in research projects as well as sometimes restoration projects as well.
Awesome. And do very important work around here. We have a really awesome bird population around here, and if you're a birder, you know this. And if you're a birder, you probably know about Gimli, but for the people out there that don't know much about American Kestrels or Gimli, can you tell us more about him?
Sure. Gimli is 11 years old. We've had him since he was just a few months old. And American Kestrels are actually in decline in a lot of their range. The loss of habitat and use of pesticides are two of the big problems. Then the use of pesticides is really important because during the summertime, they eat a lot of what we call juicy bugs, things like grasshoppers, cicadas, katydids, that sort of thing. And for people that are using pesticides, that, of course it goes right into them and it's trouble. But you can find them in areas that have a large amount of short grass, things like pasture land, campuses. We've seen them hunting the median strips of the interstates sometimes. And also ball fields, where they also often will sit up on top of the lights and catch bugs from up there. But they also will eat small lizards and snakes. They also eat little rodents, things like mice and moles and voles and shrews. So they have a pretty varied diet. So, but this is full grown. This is as big as they get. He weighs all of 4 ounces. And we have a number of them here in Southern West Virginia. We've got quite a few over in Charleston area. We've got quite a few over here in Oak Hill area. Just about anywhere you've got short grass, you have a chance for kestrels.
Awesome. And it's really cool there at the baseball field. So, if you're at a baseball game, keep an eye out for a kestrel.
Right. Hunting the bugs.
Awesome. And coming up, we got spring migration, and with that comes the migration celebration on May 10th. At Pipestem Resort State Park. So this is a thing that you all do annual celebration of the migration. And for the people out there that, may not be familiar with migration season and what that entails and what the celebration entails, can you let them know and entice them to come on out?
We would love to have people come out. We're very thrilled to be able to do it this year at Pipestem. They have been extremely helpful to us, getting us set up and ready to go. So we're hoping a lot of people come out. It's a family-friendly event, free and open to the public. There's birding and nature walks. We have a magician that's coming in. We've got shapes for kids to paint, animal shapes. We've got people talking about some of the tracking systems that we use to track wild birds and other animals. It's called MOTUS, M-O-T-U-S. And we participate in that. There's all sorts of information available. We will be there with a full display. Hanging Rock is going to be there, the observatory. The Division of Natural Resources Wildlife is going to have a display there. We'll also have the Friends of New River Gorge National Park and Preserve are going to be there. There's really great food from Swiftwater General Store over in Lansing. They're going to be bringing their rig to Pipestem to help serve everybody. So we've got it all, and it goes from 9 to 5. So
yeah, it's an all-day event. So I mean, if you have anything that not planned on May 10th, and you want to get out and learn more about the birding population, about migration, about everything that you could do to help out with the birding population, make sure you get to Pipestem Resort State Park May 10th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
It's going to be at the headquarters, which is just past the Nature Center as you come into the park. And I forgot to mention, we also have a free photography workshop in that whole thing that's going on. So lots of different things.
Awesome. So we'll have the free photography workshop at the event, but I know you also have an event coming up. I believe it'll be like a week after that, May 18th, where you'll have Steve Roche come back.
Yeah, Steve Roche is also leading the photo workshop at the migration celebration. So you sort of get a free taste of what we're going to be doing all day the following Saturday. So we take our birds out and put them in natural settings, and photographers come from way out of state even to come and take photos. And we call it a party with cameras because it doesn't matter if you've got just a cell phone to use or whether you've got the most expensive equipment in the world. Lots of experience, no experience. It's just a fun time for everybody, and it's really laid back. Everybody helps everybody else out. We have 2 sessions. One is the morning session, and that runs from 9 to 12, and then from 1 to 4 is the second session. And they're in different places at the center.
Cool. That'll be really great, and it's awesome that they get a little, a little sneak peek of what the workshop will entail at the migration celebration. So, if any of you were at least a little bit, if that piqued your interest a little bit, hearing about the workshop, make sure you get to the migration celebration so you can get a sneak peek of what to expect. And you may have a new career as a bird photographer, and you get to learn from the professionals. So. It'll be really cool. A really awesome thing.
We have our schedule of events up on our website in the events section, so you can see what's happening when, and you can figure out your method of attack, so to speak.
Definitely. And you all are very active on Facebook as well. So look up Three Rivers Avian Center on Facebook too.
Thank you. Yes.
Definitely. Because I always keep up with what you all are doing, and you are very, very active and very informative about what's going on with your friends here at the center. And unfortunately, we did read this morning about the owl passing on, and we're sorry to hear that. We love owls here. We love all birds, but I really love owls.
Everybody
myself.
loves owls. Yeah. We just had our screech owl, our gray-faced screech owl Pepper just passed, and that happened yesterday, and we're pretty sad about it. But thank you.
Yeah, I know that's got to be a difficult thing, because I know you guys care so much, and you do so much to rescue and take care of them, and I know it can be rough dealing with that.
It can. But yesterday was also a good day too, because we got to release 2 birds. So 2 up and 1 down,
Yeah.
But we also took in a pileated woodpecker female that seems to be doing much better this morning. She was banging on the cage wanting out, so hopefully we'll be able to get her up and out in the next day or so. She was hit by a vehicle.
Oh, I hate to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully one day she can come by and we can meet her too.
Well, we'll probably have her out by then.
Yeah. I've never seen a woodpecker actually in person, so that would be interesting too.
Yeah.
Not that we don't love Gimli. I always love to have Gimli here.
Gimli says, wait a minute, I'm the special one here.
Absolutely, you're the star. You're the first. So
a lot of people mistake these guys for eastern bluebirds, because the males have this pretty blue on the wing here, and they have the tail, and they have chestnut color in the front. And a lot of people, if they see them up on a power line, will get confused and think that they're, a bluebird. But you notice how his tail is bobbing up and down? Bluebirds don't do that. And this means that this is a happy kestrel. He's thinking about things. He's interested, life is good. So when you see that bobbing tail, it's always a good sign.
Well, we're happy that you're happy, Gimli. And he's full grown, you said. You said the females, they grow bigger.
Very slightly bigger. He weighs right around 4 ounces, which is about average for a male. The females weigh about 5 ounces. So you really have to really see them together to see that there's much of a difference. Yeah. But it's one of the few birds of prey that you can look at the feathers, the plumage, and tell if it's male or female. Most of the time you can't. And with the males on American kestrels, you see the pretty blue wing, solid chestnut tail with a dark band at the bottom. That tells you it's a male. If it was a female, instead of the blue on the wings, they'd have a halo instead of a solid cap. And then they'd have solid chestnut all the way around with little black bands going all the way down across the wings, all the way down to the bottom of the tail.
Wow, Interesting. I'm going to keep an eye out for you guys so I know the difference now.
Yeah, they're cavity dwellers, so you can make nest boxes for American kestrels, actually, and that's a good thing because they are having troubles with habitat loss, and part of that is they need to have a box to nest in. So you can make a nest box for these guys. It's about a little bit bigger than a sheet of paper on a side, 2-inch oval hole at the top, and put that on the edge of a field somewhere where there's water and short grass, as we talked about earlier. And that's great habitat for American kestrels.
Awesome. I'm really glad you brought that up as well because, it's getting warmer and people are putting out their bird feeders and things like that. So do you have any recommendations for them?
We recommend feeding birds year-round. I've gotten a lot of questions about that in the last couple of weeks. So we recommend feeding year-round and keep your suet out year-round. It's very good for breeding birds to have that extra source of protein and fat. So keeping those together is really important. Putting out bird baths, especially as we get into the hotter weather. We encourage you to, if you're going to put out a bird bath, put it out near a bush or something like that. So when the bird gets all wet, they can immediately dive into a bush and be safe, from a predator. Or if they're getting a drink, they can suddenly dive into the bush. That works really well. And we get people sometimes saying things like, well, I don't want to put out my bird bath because it just draws mosquitoes. Well, here's a little trick, okay? If you put out a bird bath and keep your water clean, you will get birds coming to it and you won't have mosquitoes. If you let it get skanky, then that's when the mosquitoes come around and birds don't. Okay, so birds like clean water, mosquitoes don't. Mosquitoes like skanky water and birds don't. So if you start getting mosquitoes, go clean your bird bath.
Yeah. That's a sign, guys. When you see the mosquitoes, it's time to change out the water. The birds need fresh water.
Right.
Awesome. So it's good to know. And make sure you're feeding these birds year round. They need food all year round, and I'm sure you guys need baths year round too.
Yeah. Well, we've seen birds bathing in freezing cold weather. So yeah, I wouldn't, not in that, but you know.
Yeah. It'd be nice if we can get you like little hot tubs and little heated pools.
They actually make heated bird baths.
Oh.
You actually can buy heated bird baths.
Okay, well that's something to definitely invest in. I'm sure Gimli would love that.
Oh yeah, it's nice to have a source of water when it's freezing outside. You'll see the more birds come to your bird bath.
Oh, it'd be like a bird mansion. You'll probably have all the birds in the neighborhood. So we're about a minute or so out from our first break, but before we go, do you mind plugging the contact information so everybody knows how to get in touch with you all? Sure.
Three Rivers Avian Center has a very active Facebook. You can message us from there. You can call us. Our landline is 304-466-4683. You can email us, trac@tracwv.org. And our website is tracwv.org. Awesome. Thanks, Wendy, and thank you, Gimli, and thank you all. We will be right back after the break talking more about Three Rivers Avian Center, upcoming events, and how you can help out. Welcome back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with Executive Director Wendy Peroni of the Three Rivers Avian Center and Gimli, the American Kestrel, and we're talking about everything that the center has going on, including upcoming events like the migration celebration, the photo workshop, and just general things that they do. And we were about to get into the weather is warm, it's spring, and that brings not just kittens, but baby birds. That's right. We've been getting calls already for baby birds. So we call it baby bird season, and it goes all the way into middle of June usually, or something like that. A couple things. If you see a baby bird and it's fallen out of the nest, and you know where the nest is, you can pick that baby bird up and put it back in the nest. We all grew up with that thing of don't touch the baby bird, mom is going to smell you on it, and then she'll reject it. That's not true. They don't care. And sometimes you might get the wrong nest, as long as it's, a songbird going into a songbird nest, something like that. It's okay. You can put it back in there, and usually the parent bird will accept the new one. But do try to get the right one. So if it's fallen on the ground and it doesn't have feathers yet, the chances of that bird surviving are almost zero. And this is a hard fact that a lot of people really don't want to hear. But they're in the stage of development that the shock of hitting the ground, even though they may survive for several days afterwards, that shuts off part of their body as it's developing. It all depends. They grow so fast that with songbirds, if any part of it gets damaged or stopped even for a couple minutes, like something landed on the ground and it hurts, that doesn't develop as fast as it should. And so when they get to the point where they really need to have that functioning, it's not there, and they will end up dying. And that's a really hard fact for a lot of people to understand. We don't like it either. Okay, so we do not accept baby birds if they don't have feathers on them. Now, if you're in a construction project or something like that, sometimes you come across a nest that you didn't know was there. We will work with those birds and try to get them back out. But if it's because they hit the ground or something like that, especially if it's hot outside, it's not going to happen. So, but if you have a baby bird that's out and about and it's hopping around and it just looks like a baby, and there's nothing wrong with it, and it's just out hopping around, leave it alone. Get your cats indoors, dogs indoors, kids indoors, or whatever. You can take the baby bird and move it to a safer spot nearby. And mom and dad will be there watching. They may not come down to it while you're standing there looking at it or peering at it from your porch because they don't want to draw attention to themselves. They've probably got other babies somewhere. They don't want to get in trouble themselves because they know they got to keep the other ones going. So just put it like in a safe spot and get away from it and leave it alone. And you can always call us at any time if you have questions. We're happy to help as much as we can. We work with everything from hummingbirds to eagles as long as it's non-game species. So we don't work with geese, we don't work with turkeys, don't work with grouse, but we do work with songbirds quite a bit, and now it's really coming into baby season.
That's definitely good information to know. And you wouldn't think that, just because we always see, especially in TV, the baby birds, they tell you don't touch them, or baby anything for that matter. They tell you, hey, don't touch it, the mom won't come back. And I think a mom came up with that to keep the kids from just don't even think about it. Don't you think about bringing that cat home.
That's kind of exactly what we were thinking ourselves. Probably back in ancient Egypt somewhere.
Yeah, they were like, hey, well, we need a way to keep these kids away from these kittens. So
that's the 15th one you brought in. Yeah.
And all the moms just came together at a meeting, like, hey, this is getting out of hand. We got to come up with a way. And they were like, hey, you bring that baby up, their mom won't be back to get them. So.
Yeah. Well, the other thing we also get phone calls on is somebody will find an egg on the ground, and we're not set up to hatch eggs. Okay, we just aren't. And it's really hard to get an egg that's been out of the nest for more than a few minutes. Those are hard to get to do anything. Okay, because they've gotten cold or cooler than they should be. One of the other things that's very interesting, there's two reasons that have come into play about why eggs might be on the ground. One of them is they've discovered that somehow the parents know whether an egg is viable or not. There's something about it that we're not sure what it is, but over and over again, we're discovering with folks that are studying this that the egg is not viable, and the parent just kicked it out of the nest, and so not dealing with it. The other thing might be cowbirds, because cowbirds will take revenge, believe it or not. Cowbirds lay their eggs in other birds' nests, and then it's not unusual for them to post a spy to keep an eye on, make sure that adult is raising their young for them, okay? But some of the birds, the songbirds, have become aware that that's an issue, and they will see that egg is not their egg, and they will kick it out of the nest. Well, they've discovered now the cowbirds will often retaliate by kicking one of the other bird's nest eggs out of the nest. Isn't that wild?
Yes.
Yeah. Cowbirds are smart, and you know, they get a bad rap, and I can't say I totally blame them getting a bad rap, but they're fascinating. They're very oriented toward the health of the unit. So if one of them is down on the ground hurt or something, they'll come down and protect it and help it out as much as they can. They'll post guards on eggs. You know, it's just like it's a mafia.
Yeah,
it really is a mafia.
It's got like a whole I think that is a great way to describe it. A mafia. They have like heist and schemes going on. Like I'm gonna replace this egg with this egg, and if you don't take care of that egg, then say goodbye to one of yours.
That's right.
That's insane.
It is insane. It is insane.
But it's so interesting though to like see how different birds have these quirks, I guess, and the different things that they do, and
learning their languages. You know, if you go onto some of the mobile apps and stuff, you'll get bird calls, right? And a lot of those are territorial calls. So especially during the springtime, we encourage people, if you're going to use your identification app to try to figure out what bird you're listening to or to call a bird in, we strongly ask that you do not use it to call a bird into you, because that means that they are now no longer protecting the nest. They're coming in to defend their territory against something they didn't need to come in. And that leaves the nest vulnerable. And we found that this is a problem. So if you care about birds, wild birds, if you're listening for a call or something like that, it's okay to have an ID app running that's listening, and then we'll quietly tell you what it is, you know, print it out for you. Like Merlin is a wonderful app to use. It's made by Cornell University. It's free, it's both for Apple and for Android. And you can just get it at your regular place where you get your mobile apps. But that's a beautiful program that helps you identify by picture, by sound, by looking it up, all sorts of stuff. But please don't use them for calling in birds. Not safe for the birds that are nesting.
I can imagine. I could imagine it wouldn't be safe for the birder that's doing it either, because if they hear something. Well, I imagine like a bird hears something, they feel like, hey, what is that? And then they zero in on it, and they may come right for you.
They don't go for people. We're the big giants, so okay. we're not vulnerable that way. But it is dangerous for the birds. Mm-hmm. So we ask that if you're using those apps to make sure it's not making the calls.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't blame any of the birds for attacking us for that, because we shouldn't be out here instigating fights between you guys. So,
but the other thing I wanted to say on that is, all birds species have their own language. It's not just the one or two calls that you hear. There's lots of other calls and noises and sounds that they make, and it's really language. It's fascinating to get to know him and all. He's got so many. For example, he's got chirps and trills and then he's got the territory. I am the big bird. He's got all sorts of stuff.
And even this little gesture with the tail.
Yeah.
Oh, what a wonderful guest. But Three Rivers is really awesome about public tour days, and it will be already passed by the time our community forum comes up, but you have one coming up with, it'll be a double tour day with your neighbors, Moonstruck Maple. But there are more coming up, so can you tell us what that entails so people can mark their schedules for the next one?
Right. We hold free public tours at the Avian Center from 1 to 5 on the first Saturday of the months May through October. So, and it's free, open to the public. Bring your family, bring your friends. Cameras are welcome. Feel free to take pictures. Donations are greatly appreciated. That's what helps us keep the lights on and keep these guys fed. But it's first Saturday, May through October from 1 to 5. The last tour starts at 4:30. So if you're there by 4:30, you get a tour. And so you get to meet all of our ambassadors, including our turkey vulture, who's on display. He's not one that we take out because he just doesn't like it. So we get to see the facility. You get to see what we're doing. We do not show the patients at any time. That's not good for them, and it's illegal to do. Mm-hmm. So we don't show those, but you get to meet all of our ambassadors.
Awesome. And for anybody that has been out there or who hasn't been out there, there are so many, a lot of ambassadors actually. I got to go, I believe it was last year, and got to poke around for a story. And it was really interesting to see everybody, especially who we now know as Miss Regis.
Yes.
The eagle.
The eagle who laid an egg after 15 years.
That was an amazing story. And if you guys aren't familiar with that, we did a story on that as well, and that was like a really cool story and really unexpected, I'm sure, for you guys as well.
It was. I got to find it. The story, for those who don't know, we have what we thought was a male bald eagle. She's 17 years old. We got her when she was 2.5, and we thought that she was a male because she's on the smaller side of things. Well, after having her for 15 years, she's now 17, she laid 2 eggs out of the blue. And it's like, oh, well, okay. So, no, we decided not to change her name because she's used to being called Regis, and she doesn't care. She knows that name is her, so she, we just have to get over our thing of saying that it's a male name. It's not anymore. It's a female name.
It's Miss Regis. So, I mean, guys, if you want to go out there and see her, make sure you keep up with Three Rivers Avian Center. And we're about we're at a minute out. But before we go, do you mind plugging that contact information one more time so they can pay Gimli and Miss Regis and all you guys a visit?
Sure. Three Rivers Avian Center is on our Facebook page. You're welcome to come and see us on there and send us any messages you want from there. Our website is tracwv.org. You can email us at tracwv.org. And our phone number is 304-466-4683. That's a landline.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Wendy, and thank you so much, Gimli, for joining us for Community Forum this week. It's always a great time having you guys.
Thanks for having us. It's fun.
Absolutely. Always a good time. And thank you guys for joining us for Community Forum this week. Make sure that you have your schedules marked May 10th for the migration celebration. And until then, you guys have a great Sunday, and we will see you next week.